direct care resilience session. So if you're new here, we ask that you put your name, position, organization, and email in either the Mentimeter chat or the Zoom meeting chat. To join Mentimeter, you can go to menti.com on your phone or computer and enter the code 3597870. And the instructions will be up throughout this presentation. This allows you to give us anonymous input and submit anonymous questions if you don't have access to Zoom, especially if you're in like a conference room. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. So thank you guys for being here. So welcome to those who have just joined us. We're excited to have you here for our very last direct care resilience session. Today's presentation is going to be on whole person wellness, and we're really excited to have this as our kind of wrap-up session after all the great information that we've learned throughout this series. If you're new here, we ask that you put your information into either the Zoom chat or in Mentimeter. You can go to menti.com and enter the code that's at the top of the slides here. And this allows you to submit anonymous questions or comments if you don't want your information out to everybody. If you are in a conference room with a bunch of people, if it's easier to email me directly who's all in the conference room, that would be great. This really helps us with our attendance records to let us, our funders, know how many people we reached with this series, and also letting our stakeholders know who all was involved in this project. And thank you to everyone who's submitted your information so far. Appreciate you. Hi, Jen, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see everyone today. It's 83 degrees in Minnesota today.
It's so wild. We never thought it would come.
Yes, we have snow on the ground and August temperatures only in Minnesota and the Dakotas, right?
Yeah, it seems like the southern part of our state is in the 80s, and then we were 70 yesterday. I had to laugh at all the people on campus. I saw so many people in shorts and looking like it was 90 degrees out.
Yes.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started so we're respectful of everybody's time. Thanks everyone for being here. Like I said earlier, if you're new here and if you are returning, if you could please enter your information into the chat, that would be wonderful, and it helps us with our records. Since this is our last session, I did kind of want to go over this project's purpose and some of our goals. So this is a two-part series that we are wrapping up. We initially started with the direct care or the disability provider leadership and trained them on how to support mental health needs of their staff. And now we've kind of focused more on DSPs and learning personal resilience skills, which is just best practice. You don't have to be a DSP. Everybody can benefit from the information that we've shared during this session. So our whole overall goal was to increase awareness of mental health self-care and provide resources that would help sustain and strengthen the current workforce and limit staff turnover. So we appreciate all of you guys for being with us throughout this entire series. We've seen so many recurring people coming to these sessions, and we really couldn't do this without you. So thank you. We'll go ahead and get started with some introductions. I'm Krista Opstedal. I am the Project ECHO Director here at Minot State University. Prior to my experience here, I was also a DSP for a few years. So Jody, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jody Patchen, and I am the admin for Project ECHO at Minot State.
Thanks, Jody. And Kyle.
I'm Kyle Erickson. I'm the research associate here at Minot State.
Thanks, Kyle. And Jen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jennifer Hall-Landy from the University of Minnesota Institute on Community Integration, which is our UCED, University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. and I'm happy to partner and be part of this ECHO team. I'm also a former direct support professional, but I now do research and clinical work in the field of disability. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Jen. And we also have Linda Anderson and Jessica Reiswig on our team who couldn't be with us today. So we'll go ahead and introduce our speakers. Today we have Deanna Barron and Cody Caughey, and they are going to be presenting on wellness in the workplace. So thank you, Cody and Deanna.
Well, thank you everyone for letting us present today. A little background on our presentation. We developed this for our professional development day back in November, and Chris had asked us to speak and present on wellness in the workplace. So we will go over 8 dimensions of wellness in the workplace and then open it up for discussion. So we can get started with our slide. Can go ahead and change the slide, Krista.
Is the slide progressing for you?
It's not.
Okay, which slide are you seeing?
We don't see anything right now.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
There we go. We can go back a little bit. Perfect. We can go to the actual introductions. We're just going to introduce ourselves a little bit more. I am a graduate from North Dakota State University, and I have a background in sociology and psychology. I've worked at the Vocational Training Center for almost 4 years now. I worked 3 years as a DSP, and I'm currently a case manager at QDDP. I have an 11-year-old. She just turned 11 in January. And I have a pride and joy for my cats, Hero and Harmony.
I'm Cody. I graduated from Bemidji State University. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I've actually now been at BTC for 2 years. And fun fact about me is I'm the only person out of my sibling group to graduate from high school.
So when we're going through this presentation, this is just one thing that we ask you to think about. Get in the habit of asking yourself if this supports the life I'm trying to create. So we just want you to think about that as we go through the 8 dimensions of wellness. All right, so we're going to start with emotional wellness, and Cody, go ahead.
All right. So emotional wellness, the definition we found was that it promotes an awareness and acceptance of one's feelings. It reflects the degree to which an individual feels positive and enthusiastic about oneself and their life. The dimension involves the capacity to manage feelings and behaviors, self-acceptance, and coping with stress and the life's challenges. If you want, you can go to the next slide, please. All right. Some ways we have found to help with emotional wellness is learning to understand and express the feelings and emotions. Therapy is a good way of doing this. It can help give you tools to better understand yourself. Be positive. While occasionally being in a bad mood is normal, constantly having a negative attitude undermines your internal happiness. Get connected, join support groups or volunteer. Quality sleep. Get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Establish boundaries. Healthy boundaries prevent a lot of additional stressors. Be mindful, so like writing in a journal, and accept yourself for who you are. The next slide. So what tools might you all use to help with emotional wellness?
So if you want to go ahead and reply in the chat or in the Mentimeter, that would be great. We'll just give you a couple seconds to see what you come up with. Yep, meditation and journaling are great for emotional wellness. It allows you to take everything that you have in your head and in your mind, and put them in a space that is safe and you know, that you can get your worry away from. Anybody else have any other answers?
We have go to the gym, listen to music,
Yep,
read a
those
book.
are, read a book, get your mind into another space. That's exactly right.
Exercise,
Exercise is definitely great.
It's good for the
not
brain.
taking on more than people can handle.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Taking
That's-
on, like, not taking on more than you can handle. That's hard for some people to say no. You
Yeah.
gotta learn how to say no.
The say no, yep. Perfect. All right, we can go on to the next dimension. Oh, we'll get one more. Recently started painting by numbers at the last session. That's awesome.
That's goody.
So the next dimension is occupational wellness. Occupational wellness promotes the process of determining and achieving positive personal and occupational goals and interests. This dimension is linked to discovering an individual's calling in life and encourages one to be a good giver and receiver of life gifts. So how can you be aware of and better your occupational wellness? So ask yourself, are you feeling good about your contributions in the world? That's one way to do that. Really don't settle for anything that you have. Keep motivated and work towards what you want. There's always an opportunity and a way to get over that hill. Increase your knowledge and skills to accomplish your goals. Find the benefits and positives in your current job and really enjoy what you do, because if you do that, you do enjoy what you love. Create connections with coworkers and make a plan to achieve your work goals. So we ask you, what are some ways that you can emotionally and occupationally better yourself? What do you guys think that we could do? Next slide, Krista.
There's no one. All right, my turn again. Now we discuss intellectual wellness. So intellectual wellness is something that promotes the use of one's mind to create a greater understanding and appreciation of oneself and others. It involves one's ability to think creatively and rationally. This dimension encourages an individual to expand his or her knowledge and skill base through a variety of resources and activities. Next slide, please. All right, here's some things we found on how to better and excel at intellectual wellness. So exposing yourself to new ideas, people, and beliefs that are different from your own. Learn a new skill, hobby, language, technical skill. It's all good for the brain. Find ways to be creative. Exercise. Practice meditation. Play brain games such as Sudoku, crosswords, and word finds. Use apps that help your brain. Next slide, please. So we ask again, what tools help you with intellectual wellness? Please feel free to answer in the chat or on Mentimeter.
I know there's a lot of games that we can keep nowadays to keep our brain healthy and working at itself. So that's definitely a plus to our technology. Reading books every day. Wordle, I've never heard of Wordle.
Oh, Wordle's a good one.
Okay. Crosswords, yep.
Participating in classes, seminars, like this one, keeping a person's interest also can aid a person in learning coping skills, getting into a good book.
That's a great answer. Great answers.
Ooh, love the podcast thing.
That's wonderful. And they're so accessible. You can listen to podcasts in the car. You can listen to them while you're walking. You can listen to any of those, music or things like that, books when you're physically moving your body.
I want to know what you learned about possums.
Opossums.
Is it opossums?
I don't know. All right, we can go to the next slide. So the next dimension is environmental wellness. Environmental wellness is having good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being. It promotes interaction with nature and creating an enjoyable personal environment both in and out of your workspace. Go to the next slide. So we came up with 7 strategies to improve your environmental wellness. The first one was replacing chemical cleaning products, maybe with plant-based or natural alternatives. There's a lot of really great and affordable products out there, at Target. There's some network marketing groups that sell pretty reasonable products. You can reduce allergens and improve the air quality in your home by adding a purifier or opening your windows to move air through your home. My number one is definitely decluttering, because I think that the space that you're in, really kind of dictates how your mind is as well. Definitely get more nature in your life. I think we can all say that we could limit your screen time, and definitely use eco-friendly and recycled materials in your home. So we wonder what you guys think, that if there's any other ideas that you might be able to come up with for strategies to improve your environmental wellness. Yeah, Mrs. Myers is a great one, and you can find that at I've seen it at the dollar store even at this point for $5. I've seen it at Target. I've seen it a lot of other places.
Simple Green's a good one too.
Simple Green, yep. Springfield, I know that's a great one from Target. Yep, definitely. It's amazing that you can, yes, Norwex. That's what I was referring to. Norwex is a great one. It is a little expensive, but the product is quality, and you do not have to use as much as you think you do. Yes, rearranging your furniture makes it like it's a brand new environment and gives you just a refreshed take on everything that you have around you and in your home. Yes, definitely. Anybody else have any ideas about environmental wellness?
Oh yes, the minimalist lifestyle. How I love it.
Yes. I say less is more, because then you have less to take care of.
100%. I like the plant thing too. I
Get
just
some
got
plants inside. Yes, that's wonderful too, because plants can act as kind of like something you have to take, well, they are something that you have to take care of and nourish every day or every couple days.
And NASA came out with some studies on like the top 10 plants that clean like your house's air. It's like a natural purifier.
So there's that out there, information on that. All right, great answers, everybody. We can go on to the next slide.
All right. Financial wellness. Financial wellness is a state of financial well-being in which you can manage your bills and expenses, pay your debts, go through unexpected financial emergencies, and plan for long-term financial goals. What do you or can you do to help make sure you are financially stable and well? Next slide, please. All right. Here's some tips we found. Ways to help gain and maintain financial wellness. Gain financial literacy. The skills needed to manage your money, such as how to pay your bills, how to responsibly borrow money, and save. Budgeting. Look at your weekly and monthly needs. Then make a budget in an effort to be able to save money in case of unforeseen situations. Try to follow the 50-30-20 formula. That's 50% of your income for must-dos, 20% towards your savings, and then 30% towards everything else. When you're about to buy something, consider it if it's a want or need, plus how many hours you need to put in to buy it. Set alerts to let you know every time you buy something. Make a bill and payment schedule on a calendar app like YNAB, which can help a lot. Advocate for yourself, so ask how you can help yourself and others get more pay, resources for financial wellness. This can include lobbying government, speaking with your leaders, and researching tools to help yourself.
So what do you guys think are some great ways to financially maintain financial wellness?
I see the chat's already going.
Krista put in the chat YNAB. I recently just downloaded YNAB and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful app that allows you to take all of your budget and allocate money where you want it to go and where you want to have it in the future. So it's wonderful.
Dave Ramsey, that's a good choice, good person to follow.
And yep, not spending outside your budget because that's very easy to do. Dave Ramsey's great. Mint budget app.
Ooh, heard of that.
I've heard of that as well.
I like the leaving your debit card at home thing. So many people do not carry cash anymore.
That's true. You can always seek financial counsel too as well. Those are always most of the time with your organization, you have an EAP that allows for assistance to help you gather financial tools.
There are websites that the United States government put together who also have toolkits for just about everything as well.
All right, great answers, everyone. Our next one is social wellness. Social wellness promotes creating and maintaining healthy relationships. It enhances interdependence with others and nature and encourages the pursuit of harmony and feelings of connectedness. So ways to improve social wellness. A great way to do that is reflect on yourself and your social needs. You can ask yourself, is this adding to my life or is it taking away? Because at certain points in your life, you'll realize that things, people, places, social environments add to your life and some take away. So making an effort to keep in touch with supportive family and friends and mentors is a great way to improve social wellness. Participating in group discussions such as this one and practicing active listening. You could also join a club or an organization. You can also participate in group studies or volunteer in the community. So what do you guys think that there's some important ways to improve social wellness? I know at this point in my life, and it could be, at any point in your life, but you just realize that, you have so many people in your life and some are acquaintances and some are, you have a circle of friends and you have a circle of acquaintances and you keep those people, the people that are closest to you, safe. You keep those people closer to you than just acquaintances. So I think that really minimizing that circle of friends and circle of people is always a great way to do that, but keep yourself open to, you know, meeting new people. Family and friends are so important. Great. Great answers, guys.
We can move on to the next slide if we want. All right. Physical wellness. So it's moving your body, which improves your overall health and well-being. And the good news is that all movement counts. One type of movement isn't better than another. Walk, run, dance, bike, play, move your way. So next slide. All right. Despite what you may have heard, you don't need to spend hours being active every day to experience the positive effects. In fact, just being active for at least 30 minutes a day can improve your sleep. So being active for at least 30 minutes a day can help you fall asleep more quickly and sleep better, which will make you feel more rested and rejuvenated. Boost your mood. So your body and mind are connected. When you are active, your body releases endorphins, powerful chemicals that energize and improve your mood. Moving your body regularly can also decrease symptoms of depression and anxiety. Your body is made to move, so do it every day.
You know, there's lots of different physical activities that you can do in a day. And what are maybe some examples of physical activities that you guys like to do?
I know I've been trying to work on getting 8 hours of sleep every night.
Even a 30-minute walk. Yep, you're exactly right. It's amazing what 30 minutes of walking will do for your mind and body. And I know a lot of this is refreshers, but you know, there's lots of different things that you can do that incorporate movement in your day. You could do cleaning. Cleaning can be a huge task and a physical task. So, you know, if you're cleaning, just think about it that way. And getting out and doing different sports and activities is a great way to stay active.
Gardening.
Gardening.
I
Now
love
that
gardening.
we have spring and summer coming up, cross our fingers.
There's a lot of community gardens in a lot of places too. You can always get into those.
All right, we'll move on to our last slide. Our last slide is spiritual wellness. The definition of spiritual wellness is defined as expanding a sense of purpose and meaning in life, including one's morals and ethics. It may or may not involve religious activities. So we've came up with a couple of different ideas to develop your sense of spiritual wellness. So, you know, developing that purpose in life is a great way to expand your spiritual wellness. Having the ability to spend time reflecting alone, so that meditating, that maybe some yoga to connect your body and mind, taking time to reflect on the meaning of events in life, and having a clear sense of right and wrong and acting accordingly, so acting with integrity, and having the ability to explain why you believe what you believe. So what are some good ways that everybody else connects spiritually? "10-minute warm workouts." Yep. Devotionals. Oswald Chambers. I've never heard of.
That name sounds familiar.
Nature baths. Oh, that's a new one to me. I've never heard of that.
What is a nature bath?
Nature bath. I'm interested, Mark.
Meditation's a huge one, and there's a lot of meditation apps now.
Yep, meditation, listening to calming music. And you can do that in your everyday life, whether you're sitting at a desk or you're sitting at a computer, if you're, you know, physically working direct with people, just taking that 5-minute break to just calm your mind and body. That's a great way. Yeah. Okay, we'll have to check that out. Wow. I bet that was intense and eye-opening, Krista.
And there's a lot of like self-guided meditation on YouTube or like journals now that will like guide you through things as well.
Correct. All right. Well, we thank you for your time. And if you have any questions or ideas or thoughts on wellness in the workplace, we can discuss that now, or you can definitely reach out to us. We'd be happy to contact everybody. Oh, I like that. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for participating in the chat. We really appreciate that. This was a fantastic overview of kind of everything that we've talked about with this project. It was just kind of nice to see everything wrapped up. I do want to put in a plug with our previous session or our previous series when we were working with leadership. We invited Julie Landseedel for living a stress-free life. And she talked a lot about nutrients and supplements such as magnesium, which I thought was really eye-opening. I'm someone who struggles to work out regularly, and most of the time I chalk it up to me being too tired. And after listening to her presentation, I was like, oh, maybe I should start eating, these types of foods and help get my energy up and then have more actual energy to start exercising. So if you guys want to check that session out, I believe that was like a 40-minute presentation. I can include a link to that in our additional resources that we follow up. So is there any additional questions before we jump into our case presentation? If so, you can put them into the chat and we can address them after our case. So the purpose of our resilience case presentations is to share people's lived experience, to destigmatize talking about mental health, give you some examples of resilient content in action, and help create a safe environment for participants to ask questions. I see Steve asked if there's a way to go back and access these tips. Yes, we will send out the PowerPoint after this session, so you'll have access to everything that we've talked about, and we'll download the chat and add that to our resources as well. So we do want to give you a little trigger warning. This presentation contains emotionally triggering topics around poor health. If this is difficult for you, we want to give you an opportunity to log off, and a recording of this session will be provided afterwards. And just so you guys know, 988 has been designated as the new 3-digit dialing code for the National Suicide Prevention Line. You can text or call that line if you need to. So I'd like to introduce our case presenter, Mark Olson. He is the project coordinator and education specialist at the Institute on Community Integration at the University of Minnesota, and he's also a previous presenter of ours. So we'll go ahead and let you take it away, Mark.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm really just going to share kind of my story this time about how I actually had some health issues, and they all came back to being related to stress. Now, I believe it was Deanna who talked about her 2 cats. Well, one thing I'm going to preface my thing with is that this is Bella over there, and Commander Grog over there, and they are my 2 cats, and they are one of the things that helps me with my stress levels these days. And I'll talk about that a little bit when we get in, but I figured I'd throw that back up there because I too believe that pets are a real key support, at least for me they are. So, all right, my story. I always started by saying beware the Ides of March, because it was about 15 years ago. I woke up and, had kind of a shortness of breath, chest pain a little bit that evening. And this was on March 14th, so that's why I say the Ides of March. I figured I was just having an asthma attack because I do live with asthma. And the chest pain was a little new. but I used my emergency inhaler and went to bed and, felt as if, things had gotten relief. It was okay. Well, about 3:30 in the morning on the 15th, I woke up feeling chest pain again. I immediately dressed and drove to the hospital about a mile away. The emergency room personnel quizzed me like I was in a suite right away, and then they took me to the cardiac suite where tests were run, and nitroglycerin was given to me. And when they gave me the nitro, I almost passed out on them. They had to like bring me awake again. And I had a mild heart attack. That's what was I diagnosed. I was 46 at the time, so I felt that was rather young. I was surprised. I was frightened. Um, I was too darn young to have a heart condition. At least I thought that was the case. As I spent the next 4 days in the hospital, learned that I wasn't too young, that I shouldn't have been surprised, that in this instance, fear is good. In fact, it's a motivator. I talked with my family. I found that my maternal uncle experienced a heart attack at the same age. We began discussing more in-depth cardiovascular history of my entire family and found that my surprise was also misguided. When we started counting heart attacks, strokes, aneurysms in family members, there was a significant reason for the entire family to look at the one thing that we can control, and that's our lifestyle. Genetics play a role, and lifestyle changes can impact them when you know. So for me, it was a matter of finding that out the hard way, and I'm hopeful that others don't find it out the hard way. So lifestyle, what does that really mean? Again, health, when discussed, is often limited to people talking about the physical factors. I know I love what was happening with the wellness wheel that we talked about here, in that it had physical as one of the factors that's important, because for me, that's always been a struggle. That's always the thing that I work on, but it wasn't the main thing that probably was causing my reason to actually get to where I got. The typical things you often hear are, got to eat right, get more exercise, watch your weight, see the doctor regularly. I was doing all of those things to the best of my ability, and I think, many of the medical professionals don't understand how much the mental health side of the equation is important, because they focus on that. They focus on the physical side and what you need to do to make yourself better, and they don't focus on the things that might be going on inside you that make it really tough. So they're just starting to make that connection in the medical field now. I think that people nowadays, I know at least my current physician is a little bit more patient centered, which is kind of their term for person centered, and we have a discussion about things more and often now. It's not quite like it used to be, where it was the doc's right, you just got to do what the doc says. Which, how many times do you do what the doc says when it's put at you in a power over manner? It's finding that connection. So that holistic approach is just sort of beginning to gain traction. So in order to improve my physical condition, I've added doctor-prescribed medication, to control cholesterol and blood pressure. Those are two of the key factors that physically we have happen. I've incorporated more walking into my day, so that 30-minute walk is a key part of my day. I will say that sometimes I miss one, and because I'm really tired or whatever, but I get back to it. It's like you have a day where you don't go, make sure you get out the next day. It's kind of like, if you're a sports fan, if a team loses a match, they want to make sure they win the next one, because they don't want to, start having that trend. And then that's where I learned to allow myself to have a little bit of grace with some of these things. I focus on not playing the shame game with myself, because that really hits my mental health side of it, and that's what's led to some of my biggest changes. The most important part for me though, in this whole thing, was taking care of my mental health. My mental health is one of those things where I do live with depression and anxiety, two very common things that a lot of people out there live with, and I tend to be one of those yes and people where it's like, someone asks me to do something, I'm going to get involved with them and I'm going to do it. Well, I think it was Linnea that said that, you got to choose you got to choose to say no sometimes. And I think that it was reinforced by Cody during that time. I had to learn more to say no because I was getting too stressed with things. And so I did. I looked at the stretchers that were cumulative for me, and over time they were part of leading me to the poor physical health and the poor mental health. Um, I came up with 4 things that helped me stay grounded and lower or change the stress in my life. Um, and they impact my mental health primarily. So start having realistic expectations. As I said, one of the things I learned from my father was to be driven and subsequently work as many as 3 direct support jobs to have enough money to cover expenses, plus a little to have some fun. I know many people out there are still having that be the problem, in that you have to work multiple jobs in direct support just to make ends meet. And that was an eye opener to me. And guess what? I couldn't have much fun because what was I doing? I was working all the time. So I made a plan to reinvent myself in the field and get to one job. And what's happened over the time is, I was able to catch on with some organizations that allowed me to do that, but having roommates and all kinds of things. And then over time, I just kept reinventing myself within the field. And now I'm here at the University of Minnesota, and I do training, and I do some research support, but primarily I'm here as a trainer and an educator. And I do some project coordination, but it's mostly training and education. Um, the next thing I did is start doing things to make myself happy. This all came up in the presentation today, which is really nice because it tied in well. As much as I love supporting people to achieve their dreams, I wasn't making time to achieve my own. So I quit pursuing a master's degree that I had just gotten into when I had the heart attack and replaced it with some of the things I've always loved doing all over my life. I kind of reclaimed some things that were the things that fulfilled me. And that's the part that really helped me get much healthier. So I got reconnected with the theater. I got reconnected with music, and performing came back into my life. I've always loved to perform, and overachieving at work went by the wayside. I'm like, you know what? I need to set this balance in my life to make sure that that I'm here, so that I can do my best. Because when I didn't have the balance, I wasn't the best for me, and I certainly wasn't the best for everybody that I was supporting. I may have felt I was and doing the best, but really, when you're not doing well yourself, you're not going to be able to provide the best supports. So, I with that, then that is all kind of turned around, and that COVID hit. When COVID hit, that was that put a real stop to all of those things I started pursuing. But I was lucky enough to have a friend that does improv, and he had an online improv group that was doing improvisational comedy, just all from their Zoom platform. And so he invited me to be part of that. And since then, I've started doing doing improv on stage and those things. And that improv really, it helps me with both that intellectual piece of the wheel and the social piece of the wheel, because you have to be able to do yes and with people in that improvisational setting where you're not only making things happen, but you're helping them make things happen. So it's a really nice symbiotic relationship. So that's the thing. And then as far as the physical on that side, I always thought as I was doing musical theater, it's like, you know what? Anybody that ever says that dance is not athletic has never danced really well, or never danced in a situation like that, because choreography was one of the things that I just glommed onto as this is great exercise. Surround yourself with those who seek balance. Make the people around you be people that kind of have the same philosophy. If you find yourself in a community that doesn't support you finding your balance, get the heck out. It's not worth the stress. Believe me, I had the heart attack because of it. in our work environments, we can sometimes create a community where we all help each other find balance. So, I'm always the one here at our office. It's like, okay, I don't want to see you work on the weekend, even though I can't tell my boss not to work the weekend. I'm just like, make sure you take some time for yourself. Make sure you do some things that you enjoy as well. Set yourself up for success. Seek support. And I think that came up too. It might be family members. It might be some friends or some close friends. It is strong of you, if you are struggling with your mental health, to seek professional help. That was one of the things that I did do. Worked with my doc, worked with a psychologist for a while. What was interesting though is because of my background, when I was chatting with their psychologist, they're like, well, you kind of know what you need to do. So, it's just a matter of supporting me in doing what I needed to do. And then the last thing, and this was kind of my little bullet of, for me, one of the things that became probably my best thing was when I got my cats. The cats have given me joy every day. I mean, they greet me when I come home. It's like any pet. And I say any pet, and I love all pets. I mean, I just happen to cats are easier for my lifestyle. But I love dogs. It's just having that connection with another sentient being other than another human can sometimes add to your mental health. So as people who provide support and care to others, we often devalue our needs and inflate others' needs. Think about that. We think so highly about the needs of the people we're supporting that we deflate and devalue our needs, and we don't sometimes do what we need to do for us. So that's one of my main things. This is just make sure people are realizing that. Don't be me. Don't wait until it's too late. You matter as much as anyone else. Use that lens and create your own balance in life, and then you'll be able to help the people you support find theirs even more. So that's kind of my story, and I certainly would answer questions if people needed it. That kind of, if you want more information, just ping me in the chat.
Thank you so much, Mark. I did have a question. How did you get connected with an improv group? I think a lot of people have these like really cool and like niche hobbies, but like, how do you find that?
Well, I got connected because I have a friend who actually was running it, and another friend who I'd done some theater with. It's all about that networking and the who you know and the getting out there and having that social, which COVID made very hard. But because I'd had the social connections with one of the performers, and well, actually two of the performers, and the host of the show, it became just kind of you want to try this? I tried it and found that I kind of, was having fun, and found that I kind of fit with the concept of the group. And, and you can find that, like, our group does it out of a local cable access television station. So, for those of you that even know what cable is, cable access stations oftentimes have shows, and there might be something in your area that's an improv group or improv troupe. We also, with our improv group, do a improv university where we actually will let people come and just try it, and we'll help them, support them in trying it. And then, if they feel like they want to try being on one of the shows, we'll invite them to be on a show. If we feel that they've, reached a point where they can kind of, they could hold their own with the folks that are doing it on TV. So it's just, you can search for those things. If you would search, these improv groups are like belly buttons. There are so many of them around that you don't know about. They're kind of hidden sometimes. If you just Google improv groups in your region, I'm guessing at least 2 or 3 are going to come up. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them will be very interested in people connecting, if that's your thing. I have colleagues that it's like, I could never do that because, you got to think on your feet. But that really is good for the intellectual piece. And it's really good for the social because of that relationship you have to develop to be able to do it well. So.
Mark, this is
Yeah.
Jen. Thank you, your colleague. Thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. There's just so many things to learn from it. I appreciated what you said about health, and I feel like health is one of those things, as cliched as it sounds, we don't appreciate it till we lose a part of it or until we have a risk. And it's how do we get the motivation, prior to a health scare? And I don't know. I mean, I appreciate hearing other stories. It's always a good reminder, and I've seen firsthand all of the things you're doing. I also want to say that the plays that you do and your improv, often then, as we talk about the dimensions of wellness, I mean, not only is it good for you, but you often invite coworkers, and it builds community and connection. And so you sort of see that cascade effect of health. I mean, not just for you, but for the community around you. And so I just wanted to thank you. And if anyone has any tips, other than just being scared, I feel like, we all push ourselves until our body says no.
And that's what I did. And that's what I'm encouraging people not to do. Now, people are going to be in different places and they will or won't, and Rebecca, I appreciate what you put there. Actually, I put in the chat a podcast that I host. I co-host it with my colleague, Chet Shetter. That's DSP Wellness Matters. And it's an ICI link in the meeting chat. If you click on that, we already have 3 episodes of that. So if you want to listen to my voice again, I usually do a good share of the interviewing. Chet and I kind of split it up. So I have not done radio, but I've heard that before. So the podcast is the best I can give you right now.
Mark, I put it back in again. The first 3 episodes are really good. They're 2 DSPs, Mark being one of them, direct support professionals.
Yep. Both Chet and I have done enough direct support. I mean, I started in 1980, and I didn't really. I still do it kind of. I don't do it professionally anymore. But I do provide support, like for my mother, because she's got some health issues that she needs support. My father, it's funny how we all become in the middle sometimes. And I also provide support for colleagues who also experience and live with disabilities. So it's just a matter of, in our office, it's about everybody just supporting each other, and we don't define things by that ability or disability. So.
Anybody else have questions? Well, thank you everyone for your presentations. I actually want to try out this poll feature if you guys would be willing to do so. This is completely anonymous, and it's just 2 questions asking about if you will be able to apply what you've learned today in your work, and if you can't, what are some of the barriers to using what you learned? We are just trying to kind of amp up our evaluations with our Echo series. So that being said, if you could please fill out our evaluation, that's much appreciated. And even though that this is our last session, we are going to be running this Echo again. We're going to run it in about a month or 2 for assisted living centers and nursing homes. And then we're also going to offer it again both to disability professionals and probably nursing professionals, just to make sure that we reach our intended audiences. We're also thinking about putting together a little focus group. So if you've attended a handful of these sessions and you're willing to sit in on a 1-hour meeting for us to just kind of ask you questions about your experiences throughout this series and help us make improvements. This is the first time that we've ran this resilience series. So we're still, making tweaks to it and making sure that the content was beneficial and that the strategies are useful to you. So we would greatly appreciate if you'd be willing to sit in on some of those or on that focus group. It's going to be probably in the next week or 2. Our team is still trying to figure out a day because Jen and Linda are very busy, and we're coming up on A-step graduation here at Minot State. So, but we are hoping to have it in like the next week or 2, and I will include a link to that if you guys are interested, and we would greatly appreciate you joining us. I believe we're going to have some breakout rooms. I've seen in some of our evaluations that people have requested having breakout rooms. So we're going to give people an opportunity to network with one another and yeah, share your experiences. So I think that that is about it. We thank you guys so much for attending this. And we greatly appreciate your time. And it's going to add something else there. I can't remember what. I lost it.
Thank you to everyone for being a part of this series. I always look forward to it because we also learn from all of you. So thank you so much for coming, giving us a little part of your day and sharing with us about the work you do and about wellness. And we'll carry it forward as we work with more groups. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Deanna and Cody, for presenting, and Mark as well. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Cody had to run, so
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Deanna.
Yeah.
It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
It was.
Thank you.
I kept wanting to put stuff